Hey guys, what's going on? My name's George and I'm here with Chris from Modstock, and today we're here at Velocity Tuning. So today we want to understand what different exhaust modifications you can do to the back box of your E90 M3 and get the best sound and performance. So I'm here with Chris from Modstock, and if you don't know who he is, you must be either new to the E90 community or you've been living under a rock. But essentially he's the man to make your car sound amazing. So we're here today to understand the difference between stock, primary decat and test pipe. And Chris, can you just give us a quick overview of what the differences are between a primary decat, a test pipe and a standard back box mod?
So the idea of the test pipes is that you actually cut the cat off, the primary cat, and you replace it with a straight piece of pipe. We also do, and we've been doing it a long time, we do a gutted cat solution, which is where I cut the top of the cat off, gut the cat out of the chamber, and then weld it all back together so it looks stock from underneath, which we can show you. Basically the difference between the two is test pipes fail an MOT, whereas gutted cats will pass. Both options will pass emissions test, theoretically. It's the visual that the test pipes fail on.
Yeah.
So ultimately what today's about is there's a lot of hearsay about how gutted cats don't perform as well as test pipes. I was going to do a video before, but I was only offering the gutted cats, so it would come across biased. So now it's going to be an unbiased review of our test pipes versus our gutted cat solutions, and it basically depends on whether you want it to pass MOT or not.
Okay. So we're here today with my E92 M3, and previously we did a video back in September where we did the 1.75 pipe mod, and that sounds amazing. If you haven't seen that already, I'll link it up here and you can go and check that video out. But essentially my car is bone stock apart from the back box mod. And you said to me earlier that the back box doesn't actually change any of the power, only the sound.
No, it's purely for sound.
Purely for sound. So today we're here at Velocity Tuning because we're going to be using the Dyno to measure the power difference between stock or 1.75 mod versus the gutted cats versus the test pipes. And we'll do a sound comparison and we'll do a dyno review. Because essentially kind of the age-old question is, how much power can you actually gain from a stock S65 V8 engine, naturally aspirated, by only changing the way it breathes, right?
Correct.
So that's kind of what our goal is today. We've done a stock run on the E92 as it made at the moment. Now, Tommy's told me that this dyno is a bit of a kind of dream killer for E92 M3s, but we'll take it at face value as it comes. So what we're going to do is we're going to run over how we gut the decats and then how we can attach test pipes so that you guys at home can actually do this if you wanted to buy the parts from Modstock. Yep. And then we're going to put it back on the dyno and do a comparison run from sound and from power.
So basically what we've done so far is we've done 3 runs on the dyno. We're going to take the average from those runs, and then we're going to do 3 runs with test pipes, and then we're going to do 3 runs with gutted cats, and then we're going to find and we'll analyse the difference between them so we can work out what is the best solution for you.
Golden. So let's just go over the welding on the gutted cats and then how you can attach the test pipes. Okay, so we have the 2 options here today. We've got the gutted cats and then we've got the test pipes as well. So let's just go over actually what the differences are.
So basically we've got primary cats, secondary cats, and then resonators. I always advise people not to delete those, never delete the resonators. So secondary cats, that's what will get you through an MOT because they're efficient enough once they're warmed up. Yeah. And this is what we've gutted out. So this chamber is now empty. So the controversial subject of gutted cats versus test pipes is because opens into a chamber, whereas a test pipe is a straight pipe. So in theory, these are more efficient, but one of the rumours I have heard is that you actually lose power from gutting the cats over having cats, which is complete nonsense. I've never gutted someone's cats and they've phoned me up or come back and said, please put my cats back on, it's making less power. So yeah, so today is just basically to see where the difference is, what the difference is, and yeah, what the improvement is.
And I guess the differences are, right, what Chris mentioned earlier is it's all about, or one of the main points is about MOT and MOT inspections. So if you go for test pipes, you're going to get a cleaner breathe of the engine, right, at the back end?
In theory,
right? So we'll see that today, whether we actually make more power and more noise.
No, I've got no doubt that the test pipes are more efficient because it just makes complete sense. But how much more efficient they are, and it is what today is about. And also, real world circumstances. Are you really going to notice a difference between the two on the road?
Exactly. So the reason that the test pipes will fail the visual inspection is obviously the catalytic converters will not be there. But on these ones, with the gutted cats, when you attach them to the car, actually the welding's on the top, right?
Yeah, so this is the top. So that is the underside. So from a tester's point of view, well, we'll do it on the car as well, but from a tester's point of view, they would have to do some decent poking around to see that it's been done. And even then you could probably say, oh yeah, my cat failed and I had to have it welded, or I had a split in my pipe, or anything like that.
So essentially it's a way around the system, right? You get the benefit of having the gutter cats, but you haven't got to change the test pipes out, because essentially that's the thing, right? If you get test pipes, they will sound amazing, we have no doubt that they're going to make more power, but when you come to do an inspection MOT, you either need a very friendly MOT inspection guy,
exactly that,
or you're going to need to change out for cats and then change back again when you're done.
So test pipes did used to pass. So in 2017, I believe it was, the MOT regulations changed, and although they all pass emissions, because of the secondary cats, they will fail a visual inspection. So because they changed the criteria.
And I guess that's what you're going to be going for, right? If you want to have an ease, then the gutter cats may be the way to go, but test pipe will definitely sound and make the most power out of it as well. So it's kind of what your use case is really, I guess. So here's the test pipes then. So you've got Modstock branding on the test pipes. That looks really nice. And as I said, that these are shiny as hell. So they will look amazing. So from a test pipe perspective, it fits exactly where the cat goes then, right? So this connects straight to the manifold and that'll go straight into the X pipe. And it'll essentially just fit like that. So we need to understand today what the difference is between sound and difference between power.
So for those of you that are looking to do it yourself, this is what you need to do. So you cut that where that line is. Same on this side. You actually remove this bracket, and then how I do it is I will file, just to make it cleaner, the inside of this tube to make sure there's no burrs, and then I will also clean this just to make sure that there's no burrs, because it makes the installation much easier for when you wanted to twist them or manoeuvre them. Here's one we made earlier. This is once they've been cut. You have to be really careful with these X pipes, because where this sits, water collects in between that, and more often than not they actually crack. We'll check yours when we take it off, but they actually crack in here. So when I fit these on site, I actually take a pre-cut X pipe with me, just because I don't want to turn up to a job in Colchester, for instance, and then find out that I can't install the test pipe you've asked for. We also do see a lot of X pipes that are dented underneath, and I'll show you an example here. And it's been damaged here, as well as here and here. Basically what that would mean is I would get to site and the test pipe wouldn't be able to create a seal because it's not ground, and then that would mean that'd be a failed job. So yeah, I'll take a pre-cut one, I'll take this one away, because then I can repair it or fix it or do whatever in the workshop.
So let's get these on the car then.
When you go for a gutted cat, basically I would bring this out to you. This one's pre-gutted, and then this is what I've taken off, and then I would fit the gutted one and take your one away for the next customer. So this is a 57 plate car, no offence George.
Hey.
But, so on the earlier models, they had this brace here, and I can only imagine that it was a recall, because I've seen a lot of them where they split from vibration. So what they did is they basically just cut it. With this brace, what I do is I've actually ground it all off, just so it makes it look a little bit. It's under the car. I would just prefer the look. It's cleaner look.
Okay, so that's the exhaust off. First of all, we're going to go with test pipes, and then we'll get it on the dyno and do a sound test as well.
Just one thing to point out when you're fitting the test pipes: when you come to putting the clamps on and these bolts, make sure they're slightly rotated, because if you fit them flush, which is how I would like to do it, to be fair, because I'm a bit anal, but they'll foul speed umps. The actual stud will foul speed umps, so just make sure that it doesn't sit proud of the pipe itself. So all the test pipes are now butted up. We're going to do a dyno run. Well, actually, we're going to do 3 dyno runs, isn't it, Tommy? That's right. 3 dyno runs. We're going to take the average. So yeah, they're all fitted up. Lambda sensors in. This one's not running spaces because we're going to do a stage 2 map, aren't we, George?
Yes, we are indeed.
Not yet though.
No.
So yeah, that's how they fit. Shiny, shiny.
Golden. Let's get us on a dyno. Okay, so the test pipes have just been taken off the car and now we're about to put the primary Decat on. That's what I'm personally going to be keeping on the car, but I'm excited to see what they'll make on a dyno run and noise comparison versus the test pipes, because those test pipes sounded awesome. I was recording the video for the standing revs and oh my god, it scared the crap out of me. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what the primary Decat can do. Right, so test pipes is now off the car. Now it's time to put the gutted cats on. So we're just putting the lambda sensors on the cats and then we'll start to move them up onto the car.
Okay, George, you can let go now.
Oh god, I was holding that for ages.
Some skinny little arms of yours.
Right, so we've got the primary Decat on now. As you can see, the welding's on the top, so you can't actually, if you're an MOT inspector and you're looking underneath, from a visual inspections perspective, you wouldn't actually know it's been gutted and welded from the top. It'll pass the emissions, so if you're looking for kind of a visual pass on an MOT, this is the option to go for, but I have to admit the test pipes looked a hell of a lot better. Right guys, so there we have it. We have done the dyno runs on the stock, the primary Decat, and then the test pipes of the E92. And what do we see, Chris?
So overall, it was a really good day. In essence, it kind of worked out how we expected.
Yeah, exactly.
The test pipes, yeah, are slightly more efficient, but the gutted cats also performed really, really well. That being said, what we wanted to do was test to see if the theory of the gutted cats was that you got this dip in torque, or even to some extent, people have said to me, oh, I've heard that you actually get a dip in power compared to having the cat actually still in situ.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you look at the graphs
I'll put the graphs on screen now, and you can see that the power delivery of all three runs is exactly the same.
Yeah.
The only difference you have is obviously the increase in torque and the increase in power from the respective mod that you did.
So basically, all of the graphs are the same. It's just that the engine is running more efficiently and can breathe better with the mods.
Okay, so let's get into a little bit more detail on what happened on the dyno graphs then. But before I do so, I do just want to caveat again that each car will respond very differently to these. My car is a very early generation E92 M3, so each car will respond differently to the primary Decat and a test pipes. But what we can do is analyze how my car responded. But ultimately our goal was to do a primary Decat and a test pipe back to back on the same car, on the same dyno, on the same day, to give us some facts and figures to work off of. Now, Modstock have actually told me that some of their customers' cars who have had the primary Decat mod done have actually seen around 20 to 22 horsepower increase. So this is purely how my car has responded to the modifications. Now, one of the things that we wanted to debunk on the day was that people are saying that you actually receive a loss in torque versus having the cats in situ with having a primary decat. And what we can see is that actually that has been completely debunked. Now, while the stock run gives a small boost of torque around 2000 RPM, it then continues to drop off and falls at the bottom of the torque curve. Whereas with the test pipes and the decat, they continue to move up and pull strong, with test pipes pulling away and primary decat actually falling halfway in the middle. And this is almost the best way to describe it. Stock delivered good power on the dyno on the day. Primary decats then falls as that halfway house in between test pipes and stock. But if you're looking for the most efficient increase for your money, test pipes is the way to go. It delivered a much bigger increase in torque, and from around 5,000 to 7,000 RPM, you can see that actually test pipes pulled away from primary decat, and that's almost where all your usable torque is really. When you're going down a B road in 4th and 5th gear, you're actually going to be around 5,000 RPM, and that's kind of really where you're going to see that biggest increase in torque. Now, while it's interesting to look at dyno graphs, it's all about how the car drives on the road, so that increase in torque will really make a big difference. So let's look at power then. Again, when we look at these graphs, the patterns in which these lines run will be very similar, and the reason for that again is that we have not changed anything. The ECU remains the same. All we've done is change how the engine breathes and shown what increases you can get from making your engine as efficient as you possibly can make it. So from a power view, all the lines are very similar up to around 3,000 to 4,000 RPM, and then test pipes start to pull away, and it pulls away kind of the most so at around 5,000 RPM with a really big jump versus primary decat. And again, this is where all your usable torque is and all your usable power. So a lot of us love to sit at 8,500 RPM, but really when we're going on B roads, kind of 4,000 to 7,000 RPM is where we really sit. So now what we can say is that test pipes have delivered the biggest increase in torque and the biggest increase in power in the usable power range, but primary decats have delivered a fantastic result at being that halfway house. So again, it all depends on what your use case is. Now I've taken the stage 2 line out of this graph, and we'll come on to stage 2 in a minute, because ultimately, like I'm about to say, stage 2 is about a hardware and a software upgrade. Now this is just the hardware of a stage 2 mod, and you can already see the increases that we've got from it. So let's move on to the rest of the video. Exactly, so overall, fantastic day. It was great to have all 3 comparisons on the same dyno, right? On
yeah,
the same
dyno, same day.
So the next stage then essentially is when you do a primary decat or whether you do a test pipe modification, you're essentially doing the hardware mod of a stage 2. So I have my car here. I'm doing a stage 2 mod right now with Tommy. We're going to be doing a separate video on that, just kind of around how we can implement the stage 2. But what we're going to be doing in a minute is overlaying the stage 2 dyno run of this car with a primary decat. And then we can talk a little bit more about what that would then replicate with a test pipe. Because the dyno runs that we've done so far are all on a stock ECU map. And I think they've given a fantastic result, and will definitely kind of eliminate any of the concerns around whether a primary decat gives less torque versus a test pipe. Right, so the map is now finally loaded into the car. It took actually only about half an hour to get in, so 2 hours to download, 30 minutes to get into the car. But again, it can vary depending upon how you do it and what computer you use. So I'm eager to get this car off of the ramp, back onto the dyno, and then we can see what stage 2 plus a primary decat will make in terms of noise and in terms of power. Nice.
Looks a bit crazy with all 4 of them there, but you can see the yellow is the strongest, okay?
Yeah.
That's your torque curve across there. So you can see now it's been tuned. You see how it just comes on and holds the power a lot better than... None of the pipes are able to do that, as you can see. But now it's tuned, it comes on its power even earlier than it was before.
And then holds stronger.
And then holds stronger. So you can literally, you can see the difference. So linear between the 3. So stock, decatted stock pipe.
Yeah.
Test pipe, decatted stock pipe with tune. Yeah. So, and then you could technically have a 5th line running through there, which would have been the test pipe and the tune, which would have seen you
way above that.
Yeah, it would have seen you probably about there. So you can look between stock decat and tune, and you can go right. Okay, wheel power 340 to 322. So you can say there's an 18 brake gain there.
Yeah.
So then you can go 329 plus 18 would put you at
350 like that.
Yeah, exactly that, mate. So yeah, I reckon you would have had like 348, something like that.
Strong.
But yeah, you came in today with 369 and you've left with 401.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, about 32 brake you've gained there, mate. You was 342 newton meters and you're now 366 as well. So it's not like you make it for the last RPM.
It's in the middle, yeah.
You make it, well, you just make it everywhere.
It's just it's that gap there, right? That's going to be huge.
Yeah, that beginning of the run there's nice.
Right, so we finished the stage 2 tune on the E92 M3 and we made a significant increase in power versus the Decat we did on a stock tune. So essentially, I guess the premise of this video needs to be, well, stage 1 is all about the map, right? But if you're going to go stage 2 and you're going to get the hardware, you're going to need to get a map to maximize the most out of it. Each car is different. Each car will respond differently. Chris has told me that some cars in the past that he's had have actually had a 20 to 22 brake horsepower increase on a stock tune from having a gutted cat. So ultimately it's all very different, and my car reacted this way. It didn't react as strong to the kind of stock ECU when we did the test pipes and the primary Decat, but with a tune you can see that we have made a significant increase in power. And I guess the element that I want to add on to that is to say that from a test pipe perspective, if we made that big of a gain on a map with a primary Decat, then think about the gains that you'd get if you had a stage 2 map on top of a test pipe setup as well. The gains would be even further than what we've already achieved today. And also, I guess, numbers are numbers, right? And each dyno is very much different, but it is all about how this car drives on the road. And I drove the car in here today, and I will be driving a different car completely out onto the roads as I drive home, and I can't wait to deliver that. So I think that overall it's been an awesome video. We've understood the differences between stock, test pipes, Decats, and what a stage 2 tune can be. And it's kind of up to you what you really want to do. We've debunked all the myths. We've shown that the gutted cat does not drop any torque versus the linear power curve of any of the other runs that we did. And ultimately, test pipes will get you the most power. But it all depends upon your use case, and it all depends upon what you want to do to your car. I chose to go primary Decat and tune, and I've left with a much more powerful car. However, test pipes are a viable and amazing option. And I definitely think the test pipes actually sounded a hell of a lot better than the primary Decat. But that's just my honest opinion, and you will do what you want to your car. So yeah, well, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below if you're looking to get anything done to your E92 or have any questions about anything we've talked about in today's video. Have a great week.